I'm on a mission to bench press 405, and this video is everything I'm doing to get there as fast as possible. I have watched every video on YouTube about bench pressing, and I'm gonna take the advice of all the experts and I'm gonna apply it to my bench press technique, and let's see what I can do. The road to 405 is my quest to bench press 4 plates. To reach my goal, I'm gonna correct my form, I'm changing my training plan, and I'm using all the best mental cues. In 3 weeks of training with my new program and technique, I'm getting the best strength gains I have ever had in my life. The first and most important thing that I did was I changed the frequency and the rep ranges that I was using for my program. I went from working out my chest twice a week to bench pressing 3 times a week. Research shows that bench pressing more days per week causes greater strength increases. The data showed that even if the volume was the same, the groups that divided their training into 4 separate days throughout the week had a 28% increase in strength for each additional day that they trained. This could be in large part due to improvement in form, and the more practice you have, the better your form is going to get. Bench pressing is a skill similar to hitting a golf ball or hitting a baseball, and it takes a lot of practice to get that form perfect. The next thing that I found was more weekly bench press volume was linked to faster strength gains. Research showed that when going from less than 5 sets of bench press per week to 5 to 9 sets per week, strength increased 16% faster. And when going to above 10 sets of bench press per week, strength increased 20% faster. I went from 6 sets per week of bench to 12 sets per week of bench in my new program. The final programming change that I made was changing my rep ranges. Research shows that using different rep ranges throughout the week helps prevent plateaus and causes faster strength gains. Using different kinds of stimuli throughout the week can also help with recovery. I went with a plan where I use a different focus on each of my bench press workouts. So every Monday is strength focused. That means I do 5 sets of 3 reps with 85% of my 1 rep max. On my 5th set, I try to get as many reps as I can, and if I get more than 3 reps on that 5th set, I increase the weight on the following strength day. I finish with a second exercise for chest, either incline hammer presses or incline dumbbell presses. Thursday is my hypertrophy focus day. I do 3 sets of 8 reps. I use 75% of my 1 rep max. I stop at 8 reps on each set except on the last set. On the last set, I go to complete failure, and if I get 9 reps, I will then increase the weight on the following hypertrophy session. I then finish off my chest workout with a second exercise, usually 3 to 4 sets. Saturday is power focused. Power focused training is completely new to me. It's something that power lifters do, and I have never done it before. I do 4 sets of 3 reps with 70% of my 1 rep max. What that means is when I stop at 3 reps, I still have 2 or 3 reps left in the tank. On this training day, I don't do any sets to true failure. I just stop at 3 reps, knowing I could probably get 2 or 3 more, and that's it. The idea is to focus on explosive power. On this training day, I did not take any sets to complete failure. I don't do a full training session for chest on this day. I just do the power training for bench. It feels strange not doing any sets to failure, but the added practice using perfect form is definitely making a big difference. This video by Jeremy Ethier goes into more detail and is the best video I found on how to increase your bench press. I'll put a link in the description. You can see from these workouts, I've been increasing in strength every week. I have never seen consistent strength increases like this ever from any program that I've ever done. My experience in the past has always been, I'll train for 3 weeks, see a small increase in strength, and then stay there for another 2-3 weeks, and then see another small increase in strength. To see my strength increase week upon week upon week is pretty awesome. The second thing I did to increase my bench press was start using correct powerlifting form. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. Powerlifters have already figured out the best technique to lift the most amount of weight, so I'm gonna copy what they're doing. I've been bench pressing the same way since I was 18 years old. I use a wide grip with my elbows flared out so that I can feel my chest activating. This kind of form puts a lot of extra stress on the shoulder, and it does not set you up to bench a heavier and heavier weight. Bench pressing heavy weight is a skill that takes practice. I feel like the easiest way for me to get to a 405 bench is going to be to improve my skill at bench pressing. I wanted to create a ritual around my bench press setup and press that's exactly the same every time. I wanted to use the form that I'm going to be using on the day that I actually do my 405 lift. That means I'm going to follow all powerlifting competition rules. I will pause on my chest for a full second and make sure the bar comes to a full stop. And I'm also going to make sure my index finger is no further out than the line on the bar. My ritual starts with setup. Here are the 6 steps to my setup, including the mental cues that I use at each point. On my setup, the first step is to line up my eyes under the bar. The second step is to set my shoulders. I reach back and grab the bench press, and I use that to squeeze my shoulder blades together, arch my back, and dig them into the bench. I then place my feet as far back as possible with heels down and knees close to the bench. I make sure that my butt is down. At this point, I then place my hands on the bar with my index finger on the line, being careful not to lose any tension in my back or shoulders. I make sure and line up my hands with my knuckles above my wrists, and the mental cue here is to punch the ceiling. Once my hands are on the bar, I do a final check to make sure my shoulders are retracted, my lats are flexed. I have a mental cue to crank my elbows forward. Once I'm set up and ready, I start the bench press. Bench press has 4 phases. Phase 1 is the unrack. Here you want to lift out, not up. Phase 2 is brace. At this point, I take a deep breath into my gut, using the mental cue of puffing out my chest. I also grip the bar as hard as I can, using the mental cue of bending the bar and ripping it apart. Phase 3 is the descent. I touch the bar just below nipple level. Elbows should be at a 45-degree angle when viewed from the top. Phase 4 is the press. I try to explode off the chest with as much power and force as possible. I drive my heels into the floor, using the mental cue of pushing the floor away from me. As I'm driving the bar up, it's coming from just below my nipples to in line with my shoulders. The ideal bar path will begin by coming up to the shoulders slightly and then driving up. When you're moving the bar off your chest, you want to quickly get the bar up to shoulder level where you have more power to drive it up. So I first drive the bar back over the shoulder joint and then up. Some additional cues are push your body away from the bar and tighten the skin on your back against the bench using leg drive. Another great video I found on bench press form was Jeff Nippard's, and I will also link that in the description. That is it. That is everything I'm doing so far, and it has worked far better than I imagined. I can't believe I never did this before. My last 1 rep max attempt was about a week ago, and I got 365 easy. I went for 385 and failed. If I went for 385 today, I feel like I would get it no problem. At the rate my strength is increasing right now, I should be getting that 405 bench within the next 3 to 4 weeks. I can't believe I have bench pressed for 32 years and I have never taken the time to perfect my technique. Now that I've done all the research, I have formulated my plan. The only thing left is just to do it. If you want to see how I did on my 21-day water fast or on my 120-day transformation, check out one of these videos. More cool stuff to come.